estate agents, and welcome to Mo's Marketing Minute, the show that takes the mystery out of marketing for today's real estate professionals. Today we're digging deep into the world of loans. In marketing, knowledge is the key to putting out good consumable content, and good consumable content is the key to growing. And today I have a sound clip from one of our area's kings of lending, John the Loan King himself. We're going to get some amazing knowledge from John regarding the differences between conventional loans like Freddie Mac and Fannie Mae versus something government-backed like FHA. And then we're going to talk about how you can use this tidbit of knowledge to market yourself as an authority figure and catch more clients. Now, without further ado, I give you the king.
So Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac are the Coke and Pepsi of the mortgage world. Okay, you go to a restaurant and you say, "Can I have a Coke?" And what do they say 9 times out of 10? "I'm sorry, we only have Pepsi," right? Do you really care? Like, if you had both, I'd prefer what I prefer, but I just want a soda that's not diet, right? Okay, the same holds true for when you hear Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. It's simply a conventional loan. It is the recipe that I use to determine the rules that apply best for the client as to whether it's Fannie Mae or Freddie Mac. There is zero difference to the client. There's zero difference to the interest rates. So when people say conventional, they're talking about Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac loans. Then we've got government loans. Those are government-backed loans. So FHA is the Dr. Pepper of the mortgage soda world. I don't know. So FHA, I jokingly have always said FHA stands for Family Help Appreciated. Okay, FHA is very, very forgiving because conventional will always give you the better deal when you have really, really good credit. But as you start going down the credit scale and going down the down payment scale, in other words, smaller down payment and lower credit, there's a point at which FHA becomes a better deal than conventional, okay? Because FHA starts out more expensive, but as you go down the scale of credit, FHA says, I'm not really gonna add much to that. Like, I'm cool with it because I already built it into my risk. Conventional just keeps building more and more and more into their risk as you go down the scale, okay? So there are times when somebody may be putting greater than 20% down, and I'll still tell them FHA is the right choice. Because from a cost-benefit perspective, it may be that their really low credit risk, the risk of their low credit makes FHA the smarter dollar-for-dollar choice. Make sense? Mm-hmm. Okay. The only thing I'll say in that case is FHA always has mortgage insurance. So if you ever have a client that says, "Hey, I'm putting 25% down, but John King said I should go FHA," cool, but since you're putting 20% down, you don't have mortgage insurance. Not true. Okay. FHA always charges it because FHA figures, hey, if you could do a conventional loan, you would. You're using me for a reason and I'm taking that risk. So I'm always charging that mortgage insurance. Okay. Veterans Affairs, VA. Obviously, you have to be a veteran of the U.S. military and have served for a required amount of time. It's not a long amount of time, but you still have to have served the required amount of time. The biggest VA frustrates me because it's so hard to get an offer accepted from a buyer that's using VA. And it's sad because VA is a great loan program. It benefits our veterans. The VA basically is guaranteeing a loan for me. Like, FHA covers some of my risk. Conventional with mortgage insurance covers some of my risk. VA guarantees I won't lose money. Okay, so from a lender's perspective and FHA's rulebook or VA's rulebook, it says these people served our country, bend over backwards. We're okay with a lot of things that nobody else is okay with, but then we can't get an offer accepted. It's the appraisals are not that much harder. Okay, they've really tried to make the appraisals the same as conventional appraisals. There are some challenges still. The biggest one being that you have to do a termite inspection and clearance. Aside from that, guys, there aren't extra fees the seller has to pay. Most of the reasons you don't get a VA offer accepted is the listing agent and the seller's misunderstanding of those myths that used to be true, but they're no longer true. And they just say, "Oh, stay away from VA. It's too much of an issue."
Whoa, thanks, John. That's some priceless insight from Northern California's Loan King himself. But what does this have to do with marketing? Well, it's all about authority and empathy. Whenever anybody makes a purchase of anything, they're doing it because the product or service has been appropriately marketed to them as two things: authoritative and empathetic. Let me explain further. If Susie Homebuyer is online searching for the difference between a conventional loan and a government loan, and her neighbor, your past client, shares a well-designed piece of marketing material on her Facebook wall answering her question, well, if that piece of marketing material has your name and face all over it, boom, you've just become an authority in Susie's mind. And she's more likely to use you because she has learned something from you. Now, isn't this just stealing information from our good friend John King? No, not at all. Other industry experts readily share this information to you through venues just like this, because they too are marketing their services to you as an agent. And if John's info can help you connect with Susie, you're going to be more likely, or at least you should be, to use John when guiding Susie through the home buying process. This is called authoritative marketing. And that'll about do it for today's episode. If you're an agent out there with a marketing question, don't be shy. Send us an email at abornstudios@gmail.com. That is abornstudios@gmail.com. As always, I'll see you next week. Thanks for listening. This has been Mo's Marketing Minute, brought to you by Aborn Homes.